off to today?
We are going to change anchorage. We are now in North Palm, which is, I mean, it's a good anchorage, but it's kind of hard to get around. So we're picking up anchor and sailing down, I think, 8 miles down to West Palm, which is closer to downtown. And also because there is a public dock right where we're going to anchor. So with the project that we're about to do, if ever we need to tie up to a dock for a few hours or for the day, then it's a public dock, then we can do that. The wind is coming from the north, so it's perfect to go down. The tide is out, so it'll be a nice downwind sail, hopefully with the tide, for 8 miles. Let's go!
Well, our scooter motor that we used for our anchor windlass finally died after 2 years. It's broken 3 times, and we kind of fixed it because it's always been sort of an experiment. So, yeah, it finally actually died. We've ordered a new one, and this time, since we know how to install it and what it wants to do, hopefully it won't die quite as quickly. So yeah, we're sailing off anchor today, and I'm hauling up by hand.
Like good old times. Do you need me on the...
Maybe just sail it up. Do you want to sail up while I haul up?
We're doing 7 knots with just the main up. I think it's so cool. I think that's what we get for having a super clean hull. I don't think we could do that before with our hopper. And Coco is towing really well.
Nervous, Captain Kika?
No, I think we've done this enough.
That's true. Sailing under...
It wouldn't be Uma if we didn't sail under a bridge, right?
Sailing under bridges is like kind of our bread and butter on the ICW. Today we're only sailing about 9 miles, but pretty typical to sail under bridges. Slow speed, minimum wake.
I think this is as slow as we can go. But we're still doing 6 knots. Ding, 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 ding.
This guy is anchored right in the middle of the channel. There's the green, and there's the red right behind him.
Unbelievable.
I don't think the wind normally comes out of the north around here very often, so usually he's probably 200 feet that way, but the wind's coming out of the north, so he's right in the middle of the channel. Yeah. Hi Peanut Island, we're coming back to visit you someday.
That's so cool. Like right. Well, we have a bridge in front of us that opens every hour, and we are about half an hour early, so we're going to attempt to slow down by reefing. We're gonna bring it down to the 3rd reef and see if that's gonna slow us down at least a little.
Because we're just sailing too fast. Shucks. Yeah, 6 knots to do 4 miles, and we have an hour. All right, let's reef this thing. Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Look at that. Shit. How fast are we going?
4 knots.
4 knots? What's our ETA to the bridge?
I don't know.
Good morning. We're just trying to confirm your next opening.
12:45.
Oh.
Ah, okay, 12:45. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, that's why the catamaran in front of us sped out.
We're pulling out the sail again because we got 30 minutes to get there. Shit. It said, so online it said that it only opened every like 15 minutes past the hour. And so we had almost an hour to do 4 miles and we're like, let's slow down, but every 30 minutes. So speed back up, reefing practice.
Practice, exactly.
Normally to reef like that, we'd never try to do it downwind. We'd go upwind, reef, come back down, but whew, there's not enough room to do that here. So we made it to the bridge 4 minutes early. So now we dropped the mainsail. Captain Kika's on the helm. We're just kind of hovering in place waiting for the bridge to open. The anchorage is just on the other side. Pretty good timing though. 4 minutes off, not bad for an 8-mile sail.
Requesting vessels, please remain outside the tenders until the bridge is fully raised. Thank you.
There's still sailboats coming through now.
Alright, we're ready to do phase 1 of our Lifeline project. I've already prepped everything out on deck. I cleaned out the nook area as well because we decided to do the fiberglass inside because it's windy and hot outside and this is going to be a bigger, flatter surface. So that's going to work out. So let's get that project going!
So before we start out on deck, we're going to lay up some fiberglass for the backing plates for all of the stanchions and also the little sort of pedestals we're going to make on deck so that each stanchion has a nice flat level place to be seated so that it seals really well. Luckily we still have a whole bunch of fiberglass left over from the Rio, so let's mix some epoxy, shall we?
While we're letting the epoxy dry inside, we're going to start working on deck. Den is going to cut the Genoa track. Why are you going to cut the Genoa track?
It is just a little bit too long. We only ever use the first 2/3 or so of the Genoa track. The aft end we only ever use if we're flying a spinnaker or something like that. So we're gonna cut a section out of the middle so we can put a stanchion right through so that we don't have to run about 10 feet uninterrupted. Yeah, a stanchion needs to go there and we don't really use the back end anyway. So we're just gonna cut a little chunk out.
Yeah. And while he takes care of that, I'm going to be sanding off the areas where we're going to have the fiberglass reinforcements.
Pedestals.
Yeah.
May as well just keep calling them pedestals.
Pedestals. Yeah, that's true. We already marked where I need to sand off, and I'm just going to put it down to bare fiberglass. And that's the next phase of the project.
And this time we have a big enough inverter we can run our shop vac on anchor, so that's nice. First blood.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what position I needed to do this, and it's such a tight spot. But when I turned around to start sending, it just like shoop.
Let me see.
It's not too bad.
Blood.
It's just the first. I just sanded off the first layer of my skin.
It's like extreme exfoliation. Kika got a boo-boo.
Like my old boss used to say, if you're not bleeding by the end of the day, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, it was my fault though. I didn't think that the cinder would do much damage if I touched it, honestly. But oh well. Oh, it's not that bad. Back to work. Now it's starting to hurt. It's like pulsing. Yeah, I think this is the first big injury.
Big injury.
I mean, it's a big injury, but it's big injury, you know. The biggest injury I've had on the boat, that's for sure.
Aw, really? In 3 years you've never drawn blood on this boat?
I don't think so. I want to see it.
Don't take it off. So this epoxy cures very, very slowly. We got like a tropical hardener, which means it's the next day, but it's still relatively flexible. It hasn't fully cured yet, which means I can actually cut out the pedestals with scissors, which is a lot tidier, less messy, less fiberglass dust. It's a little hard on the hand though. So in the Rio, we fiberglassed our tow rail. We took the tow rail off and fiberglassed the hull deck joint. And in doing so, it made a nice round edge, but the stanchions need a nice flat spot to rest on so that it has a really good place to seal. So that's what these little pedestals are. They're just creating like a nice flat spot for the stanchions to sit on. I'm just putting 4 down each side for the stanchions, so 8 in total. And then at some point I'll come back and do 4 more for the bow pulpit and 4 more for the stern arch or push pit, whatever we're gonna call it. But these ones are just for the stanchions for now. The top pedestals are glued down with some epoxy and they're curing outside, and now we're gonna glue in these base plates underneath to help support the load and connect the hull over to where the core deck is. And it should make it nice and strong. So we got some more thickened epoxy, and we're just gonna squooge those up in there. Squooge, it's a technical, it's a nautical term.
Well, I think that is it for today. We're going to call it a day because the sun is about to set and we're done ferrying, and everything else we can just continue tomorrow.
Nice hat.
Thank you. Someone special found it randomly for me in the Bahamas.
Oh yeah? Who was that?
I don't know. Who was that, Dan? You actually remember?
Yeah, when we were becalmed and we pulled over to that little island, I found that floating underneath our boat. I can't believe you've kept it for 3 years.
Yeah, of course. It's my favorite hat. And I think we're going to go shoot a time lapse now. I think it's a perfect time. We still have time,
bring
right?
a beer?
Ah, yes. Beer and time lapse.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Do this.
No, of course. Did you guys have fun?
Yes. We went under the bridge and we did headstands.
Yeah.
Well, Brandy did headstands. I tried and attempted.
Did you go? But you're not wet. You didn't go swimming.
No, we didn't go swimming. There was a lot of trash floating.
Yeah, I saw that from the drone. We need to go pick it up.
I think every day that we do this, we should definitely go and pick up the trash. It's a perfect time to do this too because it's slack, so all the things that are coming in is already.
I appreciate the idea. I feel like they should be doing it with electric motors.
I know.
It's like, I know that probably picking up the trash is better for the environment than the gas you're using to do it, but that would be the perfect electric boat because they only drive 15 miles in a day, 20 miles in a day.
Right, that's true.
We're having a little raft up party.
We're all procrastinating work.
All right, well, fun's over. Now we need to get back to work. We have a long day ahead of us finishing the stanchions before I leave for Haiti.
I'm gonna sand down the fairing work that we did yesterday and hopefully be able to prime and install our stanchion bases today. Before you leave for Haiti, it's a 2-person job to tighten all the nuts and bolts. Besides, Kika's leaving me, and that makes me very sad. Very sad.
Well, we're going to be gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. That's like 2 weeks longer than you've ever been gone before.
Alright, then just finished off with sending off the pedestals and they all look pretty good. Look how smooth they are. And now I'm gonna go behind them and start priming. Yeah. The pedestals are nice and dry and they're already marked where the stanchion bases are going to be. So Dan is going to be outside installing the machine screws and butyl tape, and I'm going to be inside tightening the nuts. We have about 8 of them to do. Are you ready, Dan?
I'm ready. We just bought a bunch of hardware, so these are like 1/4 20 screws. We drill the holes, drop them down through deck, and then put on fender washers, locking nuts, and a bolt up on from underneath. And it should bolt down nice and tight. Because we're through bolting the stanchion bases, I'm gonna use our favorite bedding compound, butyl tape. It works really, really well on through bolt applications like this because you don't need very much at all, just a little donut around the actual bolt or machine screw works really well, and then it stays squishy for a very long time. And as long as you don't twist the screw or bolt while you're putting it in, it works well. So I'm gonna be outside just holding these in place with a screwdriver while Kika's underneath ratcheting down. And just a little donut like that is all you really need. You don't have to bed the whole thing. And actually it's better to let the base have some access so that if any water gets in there, it'll just weep out underneath.
Woohoo! Beautiful. Looks good. That was the last base that we had to install. Now it's time to cut the tubes and actually put the stanchions on. I feel like it's not sturdy enough.
Yeah, that's because it needs to be welded at the bottom. Those little set screws don't actually hold.
Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna be welding here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good height.
It's a good height. Stanchion number 1.
This is the worst cover band playing live behind us.
They're not terrible.
But I guess that's what we get for being downtown.
Anyway, we are done for today, obviously, guys. And
Look,
we're...
There's a string
Yeah,
here.
we officially have braces on Uma. It's obviously not done.
Yeah, there's just sort of temporarily installed just to make sure we have the height correct and we have the spacing correct and we have the angle of the stanchions correct.
What's next in the...
Next is going to be figuring out what to do back here, I think. Because this whole setup is a little... You know, it's worked. It's held its own. But it's time to do something better back here and replace our sort of push pit that we welded together with a MIG welder 3 years ago. So
That's true.
and to get a bow pulpit that fits our boat better.
Yeah.
And we'll do pedestals for those as well, so they'll be super strong and sturdy.
And then
But-
we'll come back to the stanchions and weld everything.
Then we'll come back to the stanchions, weld everything, maybe leave this Dyneema top line for now, and then see if access in the back is good enough and if we actually are going to do a solid rail. But I have no idea what I'm going to do next week with Kika not here, but I'm sure I'll figure something out and end up videoing it for you guys and editing it, actually.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
be
true.
editing the video next week, so
Yeah, because I'll
don't
be in
hold
Haiti.
your breath.
I'll be in Haiti, so it's not like I can't really download things from
Yeah, the
the
internet's
cloud
not
fast.
fast enough.
So yeah, so you'll have to.
So next week it's going to be all me, guys. Whatever I end up doing is going to be filmed and edited
By
and
Dan.
starring me.
By Dan from Dan. You know, by the people for the people.
Wait. By,
What?
she keeps trying to finish this vlog, but I'm not letting her.
Apparently not.
You guys should see the inside of our boat. Because we were doing the stanchion bases, we had to pull everything out of the storage locations where we were drilling and getting in there to bolt them down. And so that's all out. Plus she's packing. Plus she just went through all of her clothes to donate a bunch of stuff. Plus we're in the middle of a project, so like we're surrounded by crap. You think this is like this nice little frame? Look at this. Look at the rest of the cockpit. What?
You should show them inside if you're.
Look at inside. What?
I'm all about keeping things organized and clean, but I know that when it's a mess like this, it always comes back at some point. Anyway,
bedtime.
that is it for this episode for the 5th time.
you
I'm
finish
gonna
this
try, and we'll see you guys. Well,
I'll see
you'll
you guys
next week.
week.